Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Friday, October 6th, 2023. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first time. So a number of names come through on the chat. Who's here? Good morning, Nathan and Frank and Mel and Dennis and Andy and all the rest of you out there, whether you're watching live later or listening. Thank you for coming by. Well, this morning we're going to have some jokes. We've got some quotes to talk about. I'll give you some updates on some things. I've even got some new Whistlekick apparel sitting here that I haven't even opened yet that I thought I would share with all of you. I hope you've had a great week. I had a busy week last weekend. Remember last time I saw you? Just about to be a really busy weekend, and it was a busy weekend. It was a good weekend. This weekend is going to be a little less busy, but still fairly busy. This week has been busy, but I've gotten a lot of good work done. Most of what's going on is going on with one of a few things. Marshall Summit. Marshall Summit / Free Training Day, November 9th through 12th in Keene, New Hampshire. Do not sleep on the banquet tickets. They're limited. We've got 125 of them. They're going to sell out. Last year we don't have an official count because we didn't, it wasn't anything formalized, but we had close to 100 people in the room the first time we did something. So it's going to be, there are going to be some people. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Jenny. So I'm going to strongly encourage all of you to grab your tickets. I know what's going to happen. And then stuff like this always makes me sad. Somebody's going to come to me and they're going to say, hey, Jeremy, I know I needed to do this, but, and the answer is going to be no. There will be no tickets available the day of. There will be no tickets available at the door. So please, hear my pleas. Stacy says, I'm gonna be there. I know you will. You better be. All right. Let me show you the apparel that we've got going on. So what do I have? I have a hoodie, I have a hat, and I have a shirt. The hat is not available. This is something that I made just for myself because I can do that. But here's the first thing. This stuff is coming out of the Martial Arts Ambassador project that we've got going. It says Bridging the Gaps in Martial Arts. T-shirt. I'll show you the hat next. Because the third thing is available. And I don't know, I might regret this, but I haven't had a visor in a long time. Being bald with a visor is an interesting look, but there we go. So it's a visor with an orange Whistlekick emblem. And Jenny says, I have that t-shirt. Yay! And Jenny, I know Andrew said that he's got it taken care of, but I'll let you work with him on that. And then the last thing, the ambassador edition of the 3-color hoodie, black, gray, and orange. So there we go. The t-shirt and the sweatshirt are available at whistlekick.com. I'm working on apparel today. That's one of the big things on my list today. More apparel. There are more things happening that need to happen. I'm excited to have happen. And I'm working on that. I'm also working on, there's a new project that we will have rolled out by the end of the month publicly. Some of you know what's going on with that. I'm doing a bunch more work on that. And of course, drinking copious amounts of coffee this morning. great. I'll show you again. This thing works really well. This big Stanley insulated French press. We are not sponsored by Stanley, but I wish we were. And I'm using roughly the same amount of coffee that I was with my old French press. There's more water in this. So. And water is good for you. What else do I like? Is there anything else I want to share? Andrew and I recorded some episodes Tuesday. I uploaded some Patreon content earlier. There's more coming. There's another video I've got to upload, depending on the tier. It'll change what you get at the very least. What did I do yesterday? Did an update on episodes, upcoming episodes, did an update. Did an audio episode. I just uploaded the video version of that, and there's another video-only episode that's coming because it wouldn't make sense as audio. It's me showing something. If you want to get in on Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. I'd love to hear from all of you what your wins, your highlights from the week were. Let me know. Tell me in the chat. Stacy's asking if the stuff that came in is Halloween themed. Not intentionally. No, those are just the colors for the project. Black and gray and orange. Trying to think if there's anything else that I should share with all of you. I don't think so. The stuff that's happening is pretty clear, pretty solid. We did roll out the first trial of Matic Level 2 on Sunday. It went awesome. Craig and I did a great job. And this one has a test. And so the people who we invited came, they took the test. The ones that passed the test were then sent their certificates. I'm sorry, Jenny says she's still dealing with car issues. I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. I'm really sorry. That stinks. There's nothing like car trouble. Dennis says, my highlight this week is right now. Woo. Ha. Love it. Well, I know we do have jokes, so let's roll. Let's roll into the jokes and see where those take us. Thank you, as always, to Frank for all you do on the show. Thank you to Josh for our theme song and to Denise for the audio feed. The jokes. October is Seafood Month. Yep, all right, that's displaying correctly. What's Luigi's favorite dish at a seafood restaurant? It's calamario. Why was the seafood restaurant being investigated by the IRS? They were suspected of being a shell company in some fishy business. A man walked into a seafood restaurant and asked for a lobster tail. The waitress smiled sweetly and said, once upon a time, there was this handsome lobster. That's a good one. What do you call a belt made out of lobsters? A waste of good seafood. Went to a seafood disco last night. Pulled a mussel. It's better the more you think about it. Which seafood only thinks of itself? Shellfish. A seafood lover walks into a bar and grill and orders a beer. Do you serve crabs here? He asked the bartender. We serve everyone, the bartender says. Have a seat. You guys hear about the fight that broke out at the seafood restaurant? Battered fish everywhere. I'm on a seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. How do you prepare musical seafood? You tuna fish. My girlfriend left me today because I quit taking her to seafood restaurants. Turns out she was only with me because of my muscles. Those are good. Hold a muscle. That's fantastic. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, as always, for all of your jokes. And Frank says, I couldn't wait to see how you all like these. C, of course, spelled S-E-A. Dennis liked the calamario one. What was your favorite? Jenny liked lobster tails. Rather lobster tail. I'm watching. Oh, that's an interesting sunrise color. We're at that interesting time when I wake up, it's dark, and while I do the show, the sun comes up, and it's a lot of color in the sunrise this morning. I can see it. Everything's kind of pink. I bet it's really nice. What else is going on today? Have a call with a prospective client. I'm excited for that. This is not a martial arts school, but if this does go through, I'm pretty sure this would be a big deal. So I'm excited for that. What else? What else should I share with you? Just been doing my best to keep my head above water with all of these projects. And yeah, Mel says the sunrise is beautiful. Yeah. I don't have any east-facing windows. Cool. I got a westerly one. I guess technically that's east, but it's a covered porch, so I can't really see what's going on. All right, let's see where the quotes are. Oh, the one other thing I want to ask all of you, even if you're not attending Marshall Summit and just looking at who's on this list, the only person I saw pop up that, as far as I know, is not is Nathan, and that's because he's got big actor things going on. I'm really proud of him. I don't know if you're still here, Nathan. I completely understand. But the rest of you, please help us spread the word. You know, one of the things, and this is probably of maybe at least of value to all of you, we're at this time now where just putting out information doesn't do it. The ads don't do it. It's the personal requests, the personal appeals. And one of the things I've got on my list today is making a list of the people that I need to reach out to about the banquet to say, hey, you're coming to this, right? Like everything we do at Whistle Kick, I wanted to get a little bit bigger and a little bit better each year. And there was, Andrew and I talked, there was no room between where we were last year and a full-on banquet. There was no way to do in between. So we had to jump in with both feet, and there's a big financial commitment for us there. So we need to make sure that we sell tickets. Otherwise, I'll lose money. Help me not lose money. The goal is not to make money on the banquet. The goal is to break even. But yeah, let's get that thing sold out, people. Oh, Frank says, my highlight of work always involves making people feel better with jokes and compliments. Well, that's because you're a really good person. I'm going to close up the jokes, and we're going to go to the quotes. So Monday's going to be, in a lot of places, Indigenous Peoples Day. There are some states that still call it Columbus Day. My job here is not to be political or even to have an opinion. It's a day. So here we go. Here are 3 Native American proverbs. And of course, it makes more sense to think of it as Indigenous Peoples Day if we are going to speak of Indigenous peoples. And this is from a website, and there's the link. Only when the last tree has been cut down, the last fish caught, and the last stream poisoned, will we realize we cannot eat money. Nope, that's the wrong thing. This is right. Money is a means to an end. Money is a store of value. For some people, money is a scoring system turning life into a game. And I'm not going to say what someone should or should not do. That's not my place. But there's something that really interesting that happens for a lot of people. If you ask them why money is important to them, and you keep pressing them, but why, but why, but why? Ultimately, it comes down to so I can have time and freedom to do what I want. That's what most people want money for. Here's the irony. Most of those people could live a life that has more free time and more freedom if they approached work differently. See, there are a lot of people, and I'm recovering in this sense, but I still have programming around it that I should work as much as I can and make as much money as I can. Now, a lot of that is because Whistlekick is not yet profitable, and I'm doing everything I can to keep this company moving forward. But what about the person who works at a mid-level executive job and they work 60 hours a week and they don't see their family, and their idea of free time is evenings and weekends and a couple weeks a year of vacation? Could that person not move somewhere else, even in the same area, a simpler home, and get a job that doesn't require 60 hours a week? Have the same kind of food and just more time? For most people, the answer is yes. But we were never taught that that was an option. We were never taught to look at it that way. At least most of us weren't. We were taught to look at it as climb the ladder, get the title, make all the money. That's what's important. Some people have figured this out. Some people are living this. I'll be back there. I was there for a little while. But I've got a mission. It's kind of a big, important mission to me. Oh, coffee is good. You ever get the ratio of well, for me, it's cream. But whatever you put in your coffee, when you get it perfectly, and the coffee is just exactly what you wanted. I don't even want to put more coffee in the mug yet because the ratio is perfect. All right. And now, this is one you've likely heard. There are two wolves fighting inside all of us. The first one is evil, the second one is good. Which wolf will win? The one you feed. We all have the ability to be, to a certain degree, whatever we want to be. We don't all do a good job of being the person that we want to be, of working to be the person we want to be. In fact, the video that I have not put up yet on Patreon, the one that's going up, no. Didn't I put it up? The audio went up. Yeah. The audio that went up yesterday, the video that went up today, is on this subject. There are a lot of people out there who think that what they are doing is bettering the world. But really, they've just convinced themselves in a really selfish way that they're bettering the world. And it's really just bettering themselves through ego, and in a lot of ways is harming the world. I don't engage with that. I don't have time for that anymore. The more I see people violating the 6 freedoms of martial arts, the less I want to talk to them. And I have some friends, I have great friends who do not believe in these things, do not believe that anyone has the right to train whatever martial art they want, when, where, how they want. That's fine. But if you take actions against those other folks who are doing that, now we have an issue. Jenny says, my parents pushed for me to find some big paying job because I was smart. They are still coming to terms with the fact that I chose joy instead of money. One of the things that I'll do to help me make a decision is I consider how I would feel on my deathbed. If I do this or I do that, how would I feel about that when I'm old and falling apart, which is not going to happen to me, but let's pretend. Yes, I will get old. One day I'm probably just going to not wake up. That's what I think is going to happen. Anyway, would I rather have done this joyful job, or would I have rather made a whole bunch of money? And for most of us, yeah, we can see what would happen. Or, and sometimes I use this device working with clients. What would you tell your kids? What would you want your kids to do? That tends to work really well too. Most people are nicer to other people than they are themselves. Something to consider. All right, our last one for today. When a man moves away from nature, his heart becomes hard. I'll share this with you, and this is something that I think does rile up a certain number of people, a certain type of person. As you know, I've written some books, but I write other things that don't get published. I've got a journal for my philosophical writing. Maybe someday I'll publish it. But sometimes I have thoughts that I need to get out of my head. And one of those thoughts that was bouncing around in there for a long time led to what I needed a synonym for laws, but just my laws for living. And the first one is, the farther away something is from nature or its natural form, the less desirable it is. To say it another way, you cannot out-science nature. Nature is too complex. Nature's had too much time to find the incredibly complex algorithm that is existence. Doesn't mean science doesn't have value, but it means that if we try to overcome nature through science, it's short-term at best, and there are always consequences. So when I read a quote like this, when a man moves away from nature, his heart becomes hard, to me, that's another way of saying that. I hope to build another house one day. Or I didn't build this one. I hope to have another house one day. For those of you who don't know, I'm selling my home. Jenny says, you've written books? I had no idea. Hashtag sarcasm. I hope that my next home is one that I build, or at least oversee the build of. And I just want it to be all concrete and wood, natural wood. Will it likely be simpler? Yes. Will it be the least expensive way to do it? Probably not. But there's something to be said for bringing as much nature into your house as possible. One of the things on my list today is taking a look at the weather over the weekend. Do I have to bring my plants in yet? We're almost there. It's October. We haven't had a frost yet. Knock on wood. Not that this desk is wood. Compressed wood. Jenny says, concrete and natural wood and located in Pennsylvania? Ha, maybe. Probably not. And Dennis says, by the way, I should have said this earlier, Matic Level 2 is phenomenal. If you've taken Level 1 and have had a good amount of time to digest and implement those skills, be sure to sign up for Level 2 on November 10th. There are a lot of great things that we're doing. So if you are a level 1 person, you will be. I haven't emailed you already about level 2. You're going to be getting an email. So just keep in mind. I believe that the natural ways are best. And the easiest place to see it is food. We used to think that boxed processed food was best for us, right? There was a time when we thought that in society. We don't think that now. We know better. The closer to nature it is, the better. There are still some pears on one of my trees. This is the second, at least the second best pear year I've had in the 11 years I've been in this house. And I'll go out and I'll grab a pear or two because they're not big and just eat it right off the tree. It's the best pear I'm ever going to eat. There are still raspberries. I just take them off the plant. Most of the grapes are gone now, but same idea. Now, if I take that food off, if I harvest it and I put it in a bowl, it literally starts to rot. It just takes time. We know the difference between fresh produce and older produce. It's the same idea. And that principle applies to everything. Now, how does that apply to our training? If you know why you're training, the closer your training is towards the goals, the closer your methods are to how you want to implement it. Meaning, if your goal for training is competition, the more competitive your training, the better. If your goal is personal development, personal growth, your training is going to look differently. If your goal is social, your training looks different. None of these are bad. These are personal decisions. But knowing why and training in that way is a good thing. So I hope you have a fantastic day, a wonderful weekend. Andrew and I are teaching at Mark Warner's tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to see any of you there. Some of you who watch later, I might see there. Looking forward to that. It's going to be an all-day thing. Good times. I hope whatever you do, you have a great weekend and a great week ahead. I hope to see and talk to some of you in the near future. I hope to see as many of you in November as possible. Don't forget, Free Training Day Pacific Northwest. I fly out in a couple weeks for that. 2 weeks to be exact. I will be on a plane in 2 weeks. But late enough that I'm pretty sure we have this show. So, thank you for coming by. Please consider grabbing something in the store and supporting what we do. And I will talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.